Okay, meeting come to order, October 29th, 2019, present, Joe Correa, down the line.
That guy.
This guy, David DeVignan, myself and Wanda.
Motion to open the meeting.
Wait a minute,
Wanda,
Wait a minute, wait a
excuse
minute.
me.
Joanne. Well, Wanda's in the other room. Tom Fortin absent.
Motion to open the meeting.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes with video and audio taped. Okay, we'll start with the community nurses and home care statistics for 2019. Review matters presented, voters may be taken. I really don't see much on here.
Motion to place on file.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Okay, we'll jump right into septic design plans. 33 Pershing Avenue, Cecilia Senra, GF Engineering, septic repair plan.
Basic repair, good water table. Old system. Brought up for something new.
That's all right.
Nothing spectacular here.
Tremendous revisions. D-box bathroom.
It was the D-box, yep, because it didn't have the bathroom, yep, and the water service.
And the water service.
It just wasn't shown on the first plan.
Okay, it's a kooky one, huh?
I guess.
Because they went around the trenches.
Yep.
Location leaching pit.
So what do they have to do, just replace this, or the whole thing?
Location assisting,
They're putting
1500 to
in-
remain.
What are they putting in there?
No, there's a double note there. I got.
Yeah, if it's found to be not good during
Right.
construction.
And I've already had a conversation with somebody that was getting ready to do the job, and said you can just plan on replacing the tank. You know, I fully expect that.
Mm-hmm.
How
This
old is
way,
that?
they were trying to talk about, he was trying to figure out how to price it.
Can't be that old if it's 15, but probably max maybe 20 years.
Don't have too many 20-year-old cars hanging around.
No, I got a 69.
Well, there's a few with some work, usually. But, you know, we'll see as we go, but
Yeah.
that's the expectation they've already been mentioned.
Good ground, no variances, right?
Yep, there was nothing there, that's that weird area over there, deep water tables for the most part, coming, you can go down, it's even better. Jump over into,
Everything washed down with the glaciers.
yeah, Hamlin Street, it's right here. Then you-
Motion,
Motion to approve the plan.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. We're gonna get you out of here early tonight, David.
They got the folders
It's on a crease.
on the crease. That should have been rejected.
Make the motion to reject this plan. Only kidding.
I didn't pick up on that the first time.
I seen it there, but I didn't realize the crease.
Look at the other one. Bob's got it figured out. So Bob's got it figured out.
Was it on the original? How did I miss it?
Yep.
Yeah, I missed that one. Well,
Guy comes up to me the other day, wants me to figure out a septic plan for him. He brings me a plan that's never been approved. I said, I can't look at an unapproved plan. He says, no, the board of health already says it was all right. I said, wow. Without that stamp and this stamp here with the board of health approval, I said, I ain't gonna even look at it. Bring it back when you got it. There's other towns.
Smart move,
Huh? Yeah.
smart move.
Because it could be something different in it, and then I have no leg to stand on.
Let's keep that in mind, I know they're coming in with another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, look
Okay.
for it, reject it right
Yeah.
away. That's the deal.
I wanna see how you feel about it. Oh.
be gentle and it folds from itself.
Well, you do enough of them.
It's like a
don't you?
map, yeah.
Okay, 33 is okay. 12 Joseph Street, Sandra Susi, M. Cosca Associates Septic Repair Plan.
Well, this one's interesting because it's remove the pool and replace it with a septic system.
It's really 2 in a month like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the thing about this though is this house caught on, there was a section of this house that caught on fire.
Is that Norman Susi's wife? Coppintown?
I think so,
Yeah,
I think so.
sounds familiar.
He just
So-
passed away, right?
Oh, a while back.
She said.
Yeah,
Months ago,
Sandra,
right?
Sandra Susi.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just passed away a couple months ago.
Okay.
I don't know, but I do know that the house caught on fire in the kitchen, and it created an entire gut job, so they're just redoing
Might as
the
well.
whole thing.
You're collecting from the insurance and we'll put everything new.
There's nothing, there's no variances on this one either, because they're actually upgrading it.
Just a regular gravity flow.
We parked down low, got the, you know, realistically, because it was all built up around there where the pool was. Actually works out pretty good. Did the 2 holes on both sides.
So what is he digging down to?
We put it, just, let me go right here. 91.8, I believe it was.
91 below existing pool area, okay. 91.8 from 97,
You know, existing
so that's a good dig.
pool area.
Yeah, we parked really low, that pool's really high. And
Was
I
it
know that they
above
made,
ground?
it's about, but no, it's an in-ground pool, but it was completely filled in order to get it to where it was. And it's all not, it's all nasty, it hasn't been used in years,
Oh.
and it's all stuff in it, and trees, pieces of branches and stuff, that, and the cover's all ripped. And I know when I was out there perking it, that they were trying to measure down into the pool, but it was all. But I know from where we were, again, we're substantially lower than what the top of that pool would be, just with the top of our tests. So we got good water tables, we got good soil profiles that should be consistent through the whole thing, so we'll be able to see what's going on as
It's
we
not gonna
take it out.
vary that much. Even
Well-
if it does vary, it ain't gonna vary,
We're gonna know, because
because
it
you're gonna,
moves
when you
from
do
one
the
side
dig,
to the
when you do
other.
the dig out anyhow, you're gonna see what's it look like anyhow.
Right.
That's a crappy prep rate,
Hmm?
What is it?
30 minutes
Eesh.
design.
Mm.
So, there any variances?
Mm.
No,
No, okay.
I'd say
No,
it.
it all fits in there because of the way that the pool was filled up so high, you know,
Not easy access though.
no.
Motion to approve.
And the thing about this right now is, ironically, it's definitely gonna be an issue, because the one spot that you think that there's a bunch of room over there
Yeah.
is where the trailer is.
Ah.
Because of the burned out house.
Trail
This
of-
part's gonna be really hard to access, they might have to come this way. Yeah, that was all thought about.
Okay. Well, motion to approve the plan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Star review. Only 3?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, we got a 935 Middle Road, Wayne Harris, Alan Ewan Engineering. Septic repair plan previously reviewed and approved plan. What's that all about?
That one was previously looked at by you guys, that was, it was a
Close it.
real need to
Oh, all right.
get it done. because of the people that were selling it, because of the closing, yeah. And there's some health issues concerned that were,
Still, do you still endorse it?
uh,
It's not endorsed yet.
yeah,
It is
yeah,
endorsed.
yeah, yeah, just, yeah.
Motion to formally approve the plan that was previously approved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. 19
19?
Helen Street, Brenda and John Gomes,
Yeah, this is,
S&K Engineering, septic repair plan, 2 variances requested, groundwater from 4 foot to 3 foot, and sieve analysis and more percolation tests. How come they did a sieve at this time of the year?
alright, so it was a little earlier, it's been a little while, and the septic system over there is definitely, or was definitely in significant failure. So it literally, it saturated the entire ground around there. Not to mention that this is a really tough area. High water tables, all of this area, right in this,
Where is Helen Street?
it's down at the end of Burt, you know, Joseph, really, but if you go down Burt and then basically where it goes up towards Tabor, it's to the left. So it's really down in a, it tends to be pretty wet over there.
Is this near the other one we just looked at?
Yeah, more or less, the other one's up here. And then this one kinda comes down, and this goes, Helen goes down, this goes towards Tabor Street.
Yeah.
But there's a few more houses down here on the side. So again, super saturated over there, everything was super wet when we did it. And, you know, basically at this point, this is a very necessary thing for these people. You know, ever since we've been there, they've been trying to pump it out, but they've been dealing with this issue for a while.
So
They're not
they've been
moving,
They've
they're
been
just
pumping it, and they're gonna put a new system, they're still gonna be pumping.
Well, they're gonna be pumping and hopefully not pumping 1,500 gallons out every other week, or 1,000 gallons out. It's an old system, it's been there for a while, so. They're just fixing it, they don't wanna deal with the issues anymore, so. It's not that they're selling,
It's a Reed's Ranch?
essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks, big man.
Okay, we've got a
It's all right.
variance requested here. Motion,
Motion to approve the 2 variances.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Motion to approve the plan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Gentle. That's all I've been going to meetings and meetings this week, past week, 2 weeks.
Really. That's a good thing to do when people aren't around.
Some of them were on Saturdays, so that makes it lively.
Agreed.
Ooh, it's just JC Engineering, you
Yeah, right hand. 28.
564 Main Street, Paul Antone, JC Engineering, septic repair plan.
It's not the same Paul, is it? That we went to high school with? Yep.
If I,
His father?
the wife just passed away too.
Who's that? Do I know that?
That's not, no, not Hanson, that's his uncle, his dad.
Oh, the mother just passed, didn't
That's
she?
what I just said, yeah. Oh, it's passed away.
So this was a previously repaired system in 2001. Went out there and did the inspection, selling the house. We found it in failure. Basically went from there. And we went out, we redid a soil evaluation to verify the previous soil evaluation. And they completely remove the existing leaching field and replace it, using the same rates, the soils were the same, and using the same 1,500, 500 gallon septic tank pump chamber combination deal. And it's fairly new in a sense.
This had those big galleys, right?
Yeah, with the 2x2s or 4x2s. There was only 3 of them, but something went terribly wrong. I think it was somehow something broke with the pump. I don't know if it ran continuously or didn't run, or there was a broken pipe inside there and pumped in a bunch of this. When we opened up the chambers, the biggest part of that is we opened up those physical chambers and looked inside of it. There was like 3 inches of muck on the bottom of it across the whole system.
That's,
So I mean, whatever was going on there was just, it was some sort of, abuse to it somehow. Something didn't function.
that much crap that hydraulics have to feel.
Yeah.
So there was no filter in the tank, I take it?
No, I mean, everything was filled right to the top, something wasn't functioning right, and then they ended up digging it up at one point in time, and they found the pipe that led to, there was no D-box either, so the pump pipe went directly into the units, and then it teed inside the units. I don't know, I don't know if this was overflowing into this, it was hard to determine, because it was a mess when we were there, but the thing that really got us was when we went into those units and saw that there was just the muck in the bottom of it. I mean, it wasn't in use at the time, it had been unoccupied.
What was the age of the last system?
It was put in like 2001, 2002, it was
Wow.
updated at that point.
Well, somebody messed up somewheres along the line.
Something happened, it definitely wasn't.
Do we have a regulation of putting a sock in the outlet on the tank?
Now, yeah,
We do have that.
yeah, we did the 2 compartment tanks, yep, they actually doubled.
Just hopefully that they clean them.
Right, which we try to make sure that whenever I can, I am trying to tell people about that kind of maintenance. You know, and there's a lot of
We used to
people
give
popping
out
up to do it.
like a little brochure
Yep.
with a new system to how to take care of your septic and all. Do we still do that?
Yeah, we don't, because a lot of times we're giving it out to the contractors, but whenever I get my hands on the homeowners, those are the people that I really wanna talk to. And anytime that I have an opportunity to tell somebody, the girls will vouch for that, anytime I have an opportunity, I'm pretty long-winded about how to maintain it, take care of it, and make sure it lasts for a while.
You know, it might have happened too, they might have been using a lot of bleach, killing all the enzymes in the tank,
Yeah.
and just going right out the, maybe they never pumped it.
Something just didn't.
I'm just
go
trying to
right.
think what would cause that problem, you know?
And again, we're at a situation where we're doing an inspection, it hasn't been in use, and we're just trying to see what's going on there, and everything was jammed up, plugged up. So, I mean, if it was under normal use, maybe we could have made a different determination, but it wasn't, so we have to deal with it.
So the original system was in the water, or damn close.
The 2001
Yeah.
water table, no, I think it had a variance, it had a 3-foot variance. I think this one went up, if I had a
Oh,
look
they're
at it.
holding 4 feet this time.
Yeah. Because those other units are 2 feet, these are kicking up to 1.
So if it was 3 feet, it would have been 96, 50. Okay, that kinda makes sense.
Yeah, when we're down, when we did this, we're much lower than where the new system had gone in regards to the
Oh,
height.
yeah, but I'm taking the water table and I added 3 and
Yep,
I added
yep.
the top, I was checking the top of galleys versus what the grades are. Just
Okay.
curious. Motion to approve the plan?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Like I said, this engineer had no reservations about making sure that everything was new.
Who does the soil valves?
It was him, it was John. Himself that was up. And me. And I'm a model detective. Everybody hates me because of
Right.
that. Because I'm doing my job.
I want it to be low,
Yeah, right. The engineers go one direction and I go another
or
direction.
non-existent.
So you have to sit down and compromise.
Oh, yeah, always, but you know, the guys, the engineers that we work with, that I work with, we all get along well, so.
289 Main Street, DRM Realty Trust, Alan Ewing, Engineering, Septic Repair Plan.
Okay, so this is an addition to a previously approved system that is not too old. I don't know, I don't have the date, I can look that up right off the top of my head, but it's not old. So the plan here is to upgrade the existing system, add on a row of chambers and some stone, and create a two-car garage back there with a accessory apartment in, back in here. So what they're doing is, this house is currently tied in to the existing system, they're adding on to it, they're putting in another septic tank, running it down to the pump chamber, basically adding a bedroom. So because they added a bedroom, they had to add the size to the system. And I would, you know, if you decide to approve it, you gotta make it subject to the zoning board of appeals approval for the.
So you say you had a cleanhouse, no?
Yeah, it's on here. He's got that second page.
Remember what I was just saying?
I can't read that, it's too tiny.
I have to, it was on the original
Is
plan.
that like, why is this?
And I really honestly think, he kept saying to me, he goes, it's on the original plan, it's right here. I said, yeah, well, that's not, I think, what we were looking for.
Mhm. So the water line is this right on the edge. It's a logic.
You can see on this side.
So this is my question.
My question, Bob. Go ahead.
Well, I know they got a capped end here in anticipation of doing something. So, if they didn't do it this way, they'd have to take it, loop it into these two pipes and come all the way around it here. That sounds a little silly. I would agree. But I'm wondering, because the apartment's in the second floor, and there's nothing in the first floor. Why, it's coming down from the second floor, why can't they just exit and put the tank right here and then pipe the gravity, that pipe into the pump chamber over here instead of shoving both side by
That would be a smart way. You got plenty of room
I
there.
just, I don't know, it's like right by it. I'm not a fan of it, I just don't know. There's alternatives.
Wouldn't that be the most logical way to do it? Is there any piping in there now?
This I do not know, because again, I
If there's
haven't
no
been out-
piping in there, Joe, it makes common sense to go from here,
I would
come
have,
down into here, then come all the way around and have to sleep.
I have not seen the building plan on this, I have not seen, the structure itself. Like I said, it was originally, as I knew it, it was originally just a foundation in there, didn't even have the slab in it at the time, and it just sat there. I driven by it for, I mean, however years, it just was there. And then all of a sudden, over the course of the last, you know, whatever, the last few weeks, apparently it got a permit to become a garage, which is what it was. You know, and then we got these plans submitted right thereafter, showing that they wanted to do an accessory apartment. So, it was all, I can certainly go look at it, I can
Go look
certainly-
at it, see what it is.
I'll go downstairs
I'll
now
look-
if you want, see if they got what they have for a plan. If you want.
I'll tell you what, I'll make a motion.
It is legal the way he's doing it, but it would be more feasible to come around, drop it again, then go out, I would think.
I'll make a motion to approve the plan with the stipulation that they need to provide to us a letter from the water department approving that water line tie-in.
In writing,
In writing.
that way it clears us of any,
With the water department letterhead,
yeah.
a big fan of this, but.
If there's no alternative, then you gotta do it that way, David, but there's an
Right.
alternative to
I
come
see,
around,
I
you have
see.
plenty of room there to swing it.
And that's exactly what my point is. I just,
All set.
I'd rather see the line cross the two pipes underneath than.
I'd rather
than
see the
be
line
put-
come out of here and go around this way and not even go through the pipe.
Yeah, that too.
Copper tubing bends.
Just it being sitting next to the tank, right below the seam. So if the seam leaks, it's just, you got raw sewage coming right out. If the line, I know that it's a lot of what ifs, but. So, look, that's my motion. We'll approve the plan, subject to a letter from the water department, on water department letterhead, that approves
And to put
that
on
water
file with
tie-in,
this plan
that
here.
water tie-in location next to the subject. If they have a problem with it, then they gotta revise the plan, they gotta figure something else out. If not, with reservations, I make a motion to approve it.
I mean,
That's the
you know, you're saying go around here, but they could just come out of here
Mhm.
and just go right around,
Yeah,
right into here.
I know,
What
just,
the hell's the big deal? I would think that'd be the most feasible way of doing things.
Yeah, the only thing, like I said, the only thing I know that I was told by the engineer is that when they reconstructed that house down there, when they did this, which they added,
They don't even have to put copper there, the town lets them put
You know-
plastic.
I guess they put a, they
you know
put
what?
a,
I withdraw my motion.
You do.
It was never
Yeah, you
seconded,
know why?
right?
It was never
Nobody
seconded.
seconded
Okay,
yet.
so,
Because now I'm looking at it, why don't they add on to this side? With a leaching field, and
More
then,
room.
and then the tank could be slid over and they could maintain 10 feet.
I don't know if they have the space here, Dave.
What do you mean, it's 22 feet to the overtake?
Could be over there, you wonder what they got here.
Ain't no 22 feet
Yeah,
there.
they got a, yeah, I don't know,
I just don't understand why it's all side by side when you're supposed to create 10-foot separation, right? This, the whole blank spot over here just bothers me, like, why would I prove it? I'm scratching my head, why do I wanna prove it? The leaching field can be expanded on this side, there's test pits right there, there's plenty of test pits. I didn't even pick up on that the first time, I was focused on the water line
Water
being so
line.
damn close to the, right next to, literally gonna put the tank in, they're gonna rub the water line up against it and backfill. This doesn't make any sense to me.
I mean, you have the room, more room
And
up
this
there
is,
than
and this
down
is
here.
technically, this is for new construction, because they're adding
yeah.
a
The room,
bedroom.
yeah.
So, if this is a brand new house, would we allow it? When there were alternatives?
No,
A water line run right by the tank.
no, gotta
We
be
wouldn't,
10 feet
so-
away.
So, I'm gonna make a motion to deny the plan.
That's your final motion?
Because of the separation between the septic tank and the water and the water surface. I think that it can be maintained as 10 feet. The leaching field can be put on the other side, the expansion.
And leave the water there? Because nothing's been done.
Well, the
it
tank
can
could be
changed.
slid, then the tank could be slid, and there could be a 10-foot separation.
Listen, honestly, it's gotta go to the Board of Appeals anyway, so I mean, this is not the end of the world.
No, it's not.
I
It's
mean,
only
it's
on
not gonna-
paper.
it's not
Paper
gonna
can be
approved
changed,
until it goes, so if that's,
Joe.
yep, it's
It's
fine.
only on
I'm
paper, it's nothing that's in the ground, you know?
just telling you, you make it, you make it, it is what it is.
Hey,
That's separation.
this guy, he's an engineer, so
Yeah.
he should know. That's where it should be, it
This
should
was-
be.
This was already a discussion that was brought up with the other.
Make
engineers,
that your
so we
final
knew.
decision, David. And I
Yeah.
won't care.
And you know what? I think that in the end, you could, there's so many different things you can do. You can put the tank a long way and come out the
Or the
center,
other way.
center of the building into the tank. Then it could come out the tank and run right along the edge through the overdig, down exactly the way it is. And there's no reason why this can't be a 10-foot separation. So it's motion to deny the plan based upon, it doesn't conform to Title V.
is that what you want?
Yes.
Motion to deny the plan, does not comply with Title V.
That's my motion.
All in favor?
All right.
Motion passes.
Okay.
It's only on paper, it can be changed.
Yes, and there are options.
It's better for their benefit to keep it away.
Something tells me that that's just a bad situation.
Okay, what are we gonna do, keep that,
Well, it's denied, so they'll have to resubmit.
okay. Okay, this here is 16 to 18 South Main Street, Mark Delmaville, SciTech. Septic replay plan, alternate system, nitrogen reducing system. Gonna vote to table this?
Yeah, there was, some revisions that we were looking at, they weren't able to make it, the engineer that had designed it was away, so they, asked if we could table it till the engineer came back, and honestly, it's okay. I mean, we got the plan submitted, this was something that we were looking for, we'd had, what happened is we've got a septic design submitted on this that was a big system that needed to get in the ground.
And they don't wanna take the garage down, right?
Yeah, this is it, and so they changed this alternative system, but the thought is that you could take a look at this a little bit differently and maybe either save the guy some money or do it a little better. So, since the engineer was away and they couldn't make all the changes based on the fact that he was away.
I thought that was your job. No? Okay, there's a vote to table, David,
Motion to table to the next meeting.
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes to the next meeting. Okay, we got some discussion, 396 Middle Road, follow-up review of matter percentage votes may be taken. Joe,
Yes, that continues, so,
you gonna keep on top of
yeah, I
this?
was just staying on top of it.
Weren't they breaking ground last time?
It was
They
supposed
were,
to.
yeah, they were there, things were moving forward, there was still a little hiccup about money, but everything got paid, and the machine was there, they were ready to get started, he was waiting for money, and then the money came afterwards, so he got paid. All is well, it's been going on now for a little while, it'll be slow, but it's there,
It's
it's
being
there.
installed.
Yeah.
Who's doing this job, Joe?
It's Joe Fernandes, but it's not really got anything to do with him, it's got to do with the owner. You know, he wanted to make sure that he got paid up
Yeah,
front
stays
before he
ahead.
got there, so he went there, he, started doing the job.
But
and
we
then
all
of a
go through
sudden-
that, don't we?
Okay,
uh,
motion to keep on the agenda.
Yeah, I mean.
All in favor?
Please.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Progress.
Progress, yes.
19 Dowling, Title V, and sanitary code violation review of matters presented, votes may be taken.
This is progressing on along, progressing, the plan has been finished, they're out getting estimates on the sewer extension. They pulled, so that sewer extension right now, he actually called up and asked me because he said he wasn't getting any return calls, and they're kinda in the hurry up mode because now it's getting to the end of the year, and they wanna do this before the end of the year. So I made my phone calls out to the different contractors that they had called and said, please answer these calls and let's take a look at this job. It's a really pretty basic job. Also know that electrical permit, plumbing permit, and a building permit have been pulled for the apartment side of it, in order to start addressing any of those issues, because technically that was done without any permits. So he's working on that right now too. So this, all in all, is working out really well. I suspect that we'll have some prices on it, within the next week or two. And I know they wanna go on it. They
Well,
really
they
wanna
better
get
start
it.
going because winter's around the corner.
Yeah, they got, most of it's in the sideline. There's one big chunk of it that would be in Middle Road, that's probably the most expensive part. But, again, as long as they're doing it before December, 15th, they should be able to get that part done. The rest of it's up the sideline.
It's December 15th.
More or less when the asphalt plants will close.
Well, Tedeschi's open year round.
Yeah.
If this place closes, you always can get it up there.
Do we have a
But-
copy of the plan?
Yes, yes we do.
Do you have any extra copies?
Yeah, I'm sure. Make sure that you have it.
Motion to keep on the agenda.
Motion, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Sewer Summit review of matters presented, votes may be taken.
We get to take this off tonight. So, today, it's been scheduled for November 26th at 5 p.m. It's basically when Woodard and Current is going to deliver their findings to the select board. So select board wants all, this is when they want all the boards and or committees to come. That 26th is when we were gonna suggest having our meeting. So,
Where are they gonna have it?
right at the moment, it's up in the air. The thought is probably the Council on Aging, but I guess we really gotta see what the turnout's gonna be. You know, honestly, I mean, we're looking at both avenues, but it's scheduled, this is when Woodard and Curran is coming to the select board.
Which is during the day?
No, 5 o'clock, 5 o'clock on the 26th of November.
I saw it, yeah.
That's around the corner.
It's a month from now.
It's typically our next meeting with Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so I mean, my suggestion to you would be to make it for that day too. We're gonna have to post it if you guys are gonna make it as a board, or at least a couple of you are gonna make it there. And then, you know, kind of feel out where we are, and then come back over here and finish up whatever business we have to do. It's the presentation, the first presentation of what's going on, and the way that the select board is they just wanna make sure all the board is on the same page at the beginning. I don't really suspect that the intent is to have a big, long discussion about it, but more or less to hear the presentation from Woodard and Curran about what they found, what the areas are, what they're looking at, what kind of expenses are associated with it, maybe what kind of grants are available, maybe things like that. So, you know, it could very likely be an hour.
Who does our rent grading here?
Henry, you know,
Has he been getting anything for anybody in town?
but the DPW does their own too, but we haven't been able to get any grants to do anything with sewer because we haven't finished this CWMP, or this Community Wastewater Management Plan. That's the finale, is on the 26th. And then at that point, then we can start to apply for grants through DEP, through the feds, whatever it is
Yeah.
that they're gonna do, in order to try to lower the expense that would be associated with any betterments.
So it's September 25th at 5 o'clock.
November 26th,
Oh, November.
26th.
When the hell did I get September from? Jesus Christ.
At 5 p.m., which is it's a regular scheduled selectmen's meeting that they've had them go to.
Okay.
So they have regular business to do too, is my point. So,
Once they've done the presentation.
yep,
Okay. We'll
And
come
then-
back here and have our meeting.
right, and that's what I think, you know, we could potentially be back here by 6:30 and look at whatever
Well,
we
we'll just
have.
adjourn the meeting, then resume at our building, by the ways.
Okay.
Yeah, and if it gets to be too late and we can't, then, you know,
What's next?
we'll come up here and just open and close the meeting, cancel it. If it has to be
If there's not a lot on the agenda, should run right through quick.
Right, and we're getting to that time of the year where it's kind of iffy about what we end up getting.
Yeah. Okay. Late fees, review of matters presented, votes may be taken.
So that, I haven't done anything with it at the moment, we're just leaving it there because I want to try to set that up, coming, this is something we'll be
Because
talking
we
about.
chatted about that last time.
Yeah, about about any applications that need to be renewed for the beginning of the year. If they don't get renewed by, you know, January 1st when they're supposed to, that we'd like to charge a fee. This is something that I haven't had a moment to really focus on, but yet I want to make sure that I stay on it by keeping it on with you guys, because it's something that is a real nuisance, because we do not get all of those renewals in on time, and then we have to chase them. And if we're not on top of it, you know, then all of a sudden we can get into, you know, 2 or 3 months down the road and then realize somebody's not licensed, and then we're trying to chase them. It's the way it is, so I'd much rather charge them with a fee and put that into our fee schedule for a late renewal than have to worry about, you know, again, chasing everybody else. There's always people that we're gonna have to chase, but one more thing that we just rather not deal with. We don't have to. That's
Shouldn't
the-
have to chase them.
Right.
Motion to keep on the agenda.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Part-time health agent,
Right, so this has been coming down the wire. We've been talking about this both in regards to the soil board and with the Board of Health. The main thought behind this has always been about, you know, helping out, spending more time in PJ Keating. We've adjusted from the standpoint of the soil board, we've adjusted our application, our permit, our fees, in order to incorporate this into it, in the part-time health agent and or assistant health agent, however that's gonna end up going.
What's the current annual fee now for?
So last year, we upped their fee to $16,000. So last year, we didn't have a part-time health agent. We've obviously got that money, so that's in a sense, there's money in the bank. Come January 1st, they get charged their $16,000 fee for 2020. Get 2020.
How many hours a week does this person work?
Right now, we need to start discussing it, but the thought has always been to be a 19-hour-a-week position, unbenefited.
So no benefits?
Yep, to make sure, and I have a job description there that I want you guys to start to take a look at. From the standpoint of you know, again, the expectations of what we would want, you know, for the most part, we're talking 6 to 8 months worth of PJ heating. You know, we've talked and discussed about, or we're in the middle of you know, finalizing a protocol on the inspection process associated with going in and doing normal, regular checks on PJ Keating and working essentially with PJ Keating on that. So we'll make sure that they stay in line and, you know, make sure that they know that we're watching. They currently have our inspection protocol and they're reviewing it also. The soil board has a meeting, I believe it's December 2nd, where we're gonna get back and talk with PJ Keating about all this to help bring this all together from the inspection process. And then we have our money that the soil board and the Board of Health had got at it a couple of years ago at the town meeting. We have some of that left over. There's a substantial amount of that left over. We've used some of that for the consultant to finalize some of the things that we needed to do.
Can that money be carried over?
So it has carried over from year to year so far, but what it's going to do is be utilized. What I'd like to see, ideally, is we're supposed to, once we get the inspection stuff all squared away, we're supposed to move into doing a mock inspection. You know, basically go through the whole process of what we're gonna do and how we're gonna do it. Right now, that's on me, because I'm the agent for the soil board, but I would love to work this out so that we have somebody here and we do it together, so that we can actually get the person on the ground running come April this year. So with talks with the treasurer and the town accountant, we are able, the way that that was written, that article was written, we can take that money and use it towards the part-time health agent at the beginning of the year, because we're currently not funded in our budget for that, and get them started, and then move on into our new budget year with our new budget line item that's there. So that segues into the budget, which it's time to start talking about the budget, and start thinking about what we're gonna do there. What I've presented to you is basically the lower end side of what I looked into as what would be the salary for the part-time health agent. There's a high-low there that was taken out of, or currently out of our wage and classification study as a step 1 to a step 3, or a grade 1 to a grade 3. Person at 988 hours, which is basically what a 19-hour position would be for 1 year. So, and then a basic job description on what we're looking for. The reality is that, you know, we would hire them as a part-time health agent to work underneath the Board of Health. They would get there, like I do now, they get appointed as the soil board agent. The expectation would be that they would work specifically with the soil board, so they would be making sure that those meetings, those normal regular meetings are set up. along with when they're not at PJ Keating, that they would have normal activities through the Board of Health, or work underneath me essentially.
I think this needs to reflect that. The top piece almost brushes over the fact that the primary drive for this position is PJ Keating. And they could spend a lot of time.
Yeah, I understand that, and that's why I said that shall serve as a conservation agent, and all this stuff is local bylaws, it just to basically do what we do, and the only thing that I didn't want to do, even though it is what it is pick that out specifically. You know, even though it is what it is. I mean, ultimately, this was a discussion on the soil board at one particular point in time about PJ Keating versus, you know, why is it that PJ Keating has to pay for it all? You know, when they're not open all the time, you know, even though they are. So, I mean, it certainly can do that. I certainly can add more into it, but the way that I did that was that I made the statement very specific that they'll be the soil board agent, and therefore everything else in there, which is the local bylaw is specifically, when it comes to soil board, says everything that they need to do for that soil board, and that's why I have it like that in there.
Okay, I'll tell you my concern, and this is,
Please do.
in browsing through this, you will get a lot of applicants, and most of them won't know the first thing about serving as a soil conservation board's agent. I think you should specifically,
So,
I know you can't say PJ Keating, but essentially that's,
No,
I want the
but
person, this is where I'm going with this.
we're gonna interview them.
Okay, I know that, but what I'm trying to do is, I'm trying to weed out somebody that has, this can't be a position that's filled by somebody who may have extensive restaurant inspections and nothing else. We need somebody strong in the field.
Yeah, I get
And
this.
you're not gonna find somebody off the top of your head, you know,
Yeah, I understand.
that's familiar with going into a quarry and looking, you know, they'll be trained, but they
Yep.
gotta be they gotta have extensive field experience. The rest can be trained,
Yep.
to me, you know, and I think we wanna emphasize that somehow that this position was opened up and driven by a large industrial quarry operation in town, without saying their name, I mean,
Yeah,
so they know,
yeah, I
and
get it.
because this is deceiving to me by somebody that doesn't know the town of Acushnet, that may apply and see, okay, soil conservation board's agent, it's just, oh, that's one of the duties. No, it's the big duty,
Yep,
and then
yep.
everything else
This
falls
is
in.
a big headache duty.
Correct.
Then you have on here that they get, your preferred registered sanitarian preferred. What registered sanitarian is gonna work for $30,707?
It's a 19 and again.
Well,
it-
this is gonna be
it's a
somebody to
part-time
me,
job.
probably retired,
And I.
or semi-retired, really,
Listen,
I mean.
so first draft, you know what, it's hard to come up with exactly what you're saying, I know, I understand from my side, I say, yeah, there is, there's a certain person out there that would fulfill this perfectly, there's no doubt, with the way that this is, with knowledge, people that have known it, try to come up with that writing a little better, most definitely, yeah, but I figured, I also thought through the same process.
The rest of it, I just read through it, yes,
Yeah,
that's.
I get it, I get
That's
it.
but that gives, the way this is written, so little on the top, gives me the impression,
Yeah,
and then they're gonna come into an interview and say, what do you mean? You could be taking 30 complaints in 1 week over it.
Oh, yeah,
One bad, and you're gonna be over there all the time.
Yeah.
What, well, that's insane.
And they have-
I don't,
And
I wanna
basically,
actually
you gotta
weed out
really
somebody
know-
that has no interest in going into a quarry. They need to be experienced and willing to go into a quarry on a regular basis.
I get it, it's just like,
You gotta know your crop to go into a
I
quarry.
get it. I'm
It's
trying
not
to-
just soils,
trying-
it's,
that's the
there's no
trying to-
soils there, it's all stone,
I got it,
you
I
know?
got it. I tried.
It's gonna be hard to find, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's gonna be hard to find somebody for this.
I agree.
I mean, that's
Very
what
hard.
we can only try.
I know, I agree, we can all try.
Unless you're in with it all the time.
Yep.
It's good, if you know about quarries, open pits and mines, and
Yeah.
all that,
Hey, we may
going
get,
to do
we
restaurants
may get
and,
nobody experienced in that, but qualified to be an assistant health agent, is willing to learn, and that's okay.
Right.
I just wanna put it out there that this, you know,
Yeah,
what the
I'll try
driving
to-
force is.
If I honestly, I
And he
I don't
has,
want him to get the
and
wrong
according to
impression.
this, is a soil evaluator also. I don't know how, an
Listen.
average guy off the street can't be a soil evaluator.
No. So,
So it's
If
gotta
you're
be
gonna-
somebody that worked in a health
If-
department.
well, no, so right, so they would come and they would have to have the ability to do this stuff, is really what I'm saying. So when you're looking at what we're trying to achieve, we're trying to achieve
Mhm.
a part-time health agent that is more qualified to inspect a quarry. All right, when I'm trying to write this and this job description, I'm trying to look at it from both aspects. And I get David, what he's saying, but this is, we have worked really hard to create an inspection protocol that is very well spelled out. And it's spelled out in the long way, and it's spelled out in a short way. And the intent of that is to go from this, you know, once we get all this in place, and this was always the intent from 2 years ago, to never have to go back and try to figure this out again. That we've got it figured out. We know exactly what we're doing, and we're moving ahead to make sure that this is gonna, whether it's this assistant person or a future assistant person, they're gonna go back to what we have, and they're gonna go, oh, it says everything that they need to do for the quarry.
Mhm.
So, in that kind of thought, with me working hard with Woodard and Current to get that, so it's very clear, that is, you know, and that's in my brain as I'm going along, and now I'm trying to write this job description, and I'm not saying this is the job description, this is the draft, this is what I came up with so far. What my intent and what my thought process was behind it was, like me, like I am for you, I cover the full spectrum of all the local and state regulations and laws as your agent, as you do. And that was always the thought, to have this agent of the Board of Health, which covers that full spectrum, plus again, having the agent for the Soil Board that covers that full spectrum, covers all our bases, because some of what we have to regulate PJ Keating on is Board of Health. It's not Soil Board. A lot of it is, but a lot of it isn't. Dust and nuisances, that's really on the board, you know? The other inspectional processes that we're gonna go in there and we're gonna try to oversee and watch and basically work with PJ Keating on a regular basis to avoid what's been going on. They've gotten much better, but they're not perfect. But by having somebody sit there on them all the time, hopefully that's gonna change.
You know what I think, Joe? If we did get somebody online, I would like them to go through an inspection with OSHA and MIMSHA. Then they can get a real good idea how everything should be or shouldn't be.
Yep.
And when they walk in and see what OSHA and MIMSHA does, and then they'll know, say, well, this is what I can look for.
Yeah, we can
Not
do-
looking at belts, that's nothing to do with us, you know, but they do have the problem with the odors, the dust, and
And all this would be on.
anything to do with the nuisances.
Yeah, and that's what I have a part in there about, you know, you will have to go to, you know, conferences, meetings, classes, whatever it is that you need to do, and in that case, that's perfect, you know?
I mean, I could hook you up with OSHA and MIMSHA,
Yeah,
because I see those
I
guys
mean,
all the time.
realistically, there's a 10-hour OSHA course that, you know, we all should take,
Well, I
right.
take it.
you know? So, I mean, that's something straight up that could easily be done, but again.
I have to have an OSHA.
Right.
In MIMSHA, I do that on my own with them, so this way here, I'm certified to be in there.
And,
You know, and I know the rules and regulations of the whole thing.
like David said, if we can't find that person, and we can't do this with the 19 hours, and it does seem as though it's taken off in a sense that we're getting some applicants, we're getting some people that seem to wanna move in that direction and do this, for the money that we're looking at, then we can start to address those things, but I mean, it's literally to just, you know, it's a program in its infancy that, we've still got a couple of questions and a couple of things to deal with PJ. They're clearly planning on staying here for the next 50 to 80 years, that's their plan. So this is our plan, you know, our cooperative plan moving forward. And again, yes, I will change or gratefully take any comments or you know, maybe suggestions that you guys might have,
Okay.
to try to make that better. Definitely continue. That's why I want to get started now, you know, so sometimes in February or March, we can really hit the ground running and get this thing going.
Okay.
Are you gonna publicize this in the paper?
The job
Yeah.
description, yeah, I think when that time comes, sure.
You're gonna have to.
We'll do it on the website, we'll do it in the paper, we'll do whatever we gotta do.
You know,
We can do it on,
just a few things in there, you know, like the
Yeah.
soil evaluators and, you know,
well, the soil evaluator could come in handy. Once they're an assistant board of health agent, they can go to that course. And they can become that, if that's what,
it's not that easy.
it's not, but if that's
I
what
see
needs.
engineers that do plans and all fail it,
Yeah,
and they come back 2 or 3 times to pass.
but if that's what you need them to do,
But
You
that
know?
costs big money now. See, years ago, you go for 10 days, like we went for 10 days.
yeah.
Now it's, I think, 30 or 60 days for this course, and it's not a cheap course to go through, even for the city of towns.
Well,
We
maybe
could,
they'll
because
be-
a lot of this could be reworded though. It
Yeah.
says
Yeah.
must successful, we could put, would be expected. Qualification, maybe preferred qualification. But that, I don't
Yeah,
wanna,
I
I don't wanna
got-
rule
I
anybody
got-
out because they didn't get a
right.
bachelor's degree, but they got,
Well,
Well,
like you
it
said,
says
you-
that in there, it says,
Like you said,
or
the-
any kind of
right off the
experience.
bat, you might read that and say, oh, I can't, I don't have a bachelor's.
Well, any,
Okay,
you-
well,
Well, maybe
it's
they-
switching around.
combination of
Maybe they spent
education.
15 years working in a quarry and they could work circles around you out there.
I get it, however
You don't know
want
who you're gonna find, so we gotta be, I'll throw my 2 cents on
Please
this,
do, please,
Okay.
absolutely,
as
absolutely.
I always do.
Yeah, no, again, just try to do the best that you can, and then, you know, yeah, I get it all, you're absolutely right. But there is you do what you. You too, please, any thoughts that you have?
We gave you a lot of thoughts just
I
now.
know. I've been,
It's
I've
just,
run,
just to get somebody with these qualifications.
there's
That-
no the way that that's written, and you know, to Dave's point, yes, it starts out that way, but the way that it's written, it's any kind of field experience at the end of that, or combination thereof, that ixnays, and that always is any kind of job description for you know, a public position. You know, so it does say this is preferred, which is typical, but then it says any of this other stuff that, you know, in lieu of the education. So I would stretch it out, pull it apart, do whatever you need to do, at least some of the stuff's in there and it gets you thinking and moving in the right direction.
Because the soil board's gonna look at this also.
Yeah.
Are we gonna be, as a soil board, are we gonna interview with
I
the
think
soil
so,
board
I
and the
mean,
board of health together?
honestly,
It should be a joint.
Because I mean, we're
yeah,
the ones that put the
joint
money in
meeting,
for
yes,
this,
joint meeting, absolutely.
you know?
Mhm.
It should be.
Yep. And we do it down, you know, location where everybody can, you know, be enough seats for everybody to sit. Or a person's interviewed on the other
Yeah.
side. Obviously, this table's not big enough, so.
yeah, from an interview standpoint.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but we still, when we get to the soil board part, which is actually December 2nd, then I will present this stuff to them too.
Would you have anybody in mind that you would know that would go for this position?
I don't
Either one
have-
of you guys.
I don't have anybody in mind, but I really honestly think that it's kind of a good thing. You know, I do, I think that it's, I started out as a part-time health agent, or an assistant health agent, and that 20 hours a week, for me, it was 20 hours. I loved it. I mean, I loved the 20 hours. You know, it was short for me, I was able to do other things. And I think that there's people out there, it's just a matter of finding the people that are most qualified that, you know, might have another job, because I've also put flexible hours in there. So we really want people that are gonna go in there at night, we want people that are gonna go there early in the morning. You know, you're kinda just gonna do this on your own.
See, that's not there, that might attract somebody that you don't normally,
It is.
yeah.
Must have flexible hours, I'm pretty sure it was right at the
Yeah, but
front.
because it doesn't talk about the quarry.
Yeah, well, again.
That's why I'm trying to emphasize
please,
that
please, yes.
the more you open the windows, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I can actually, I could, because I have Fridays off and I can do night inspections and certain times I could have,
Yeah.
you might,
Yeah,
find somebody
please,
who's-
I absolutely, I get it, I
There's gotta be
absolutely get it.
fluidity in the writing, so.
Night inspections in that place is not feasible.
No?
I don't think that I think about
It's
night
Too
inspections.
dangerous
as-
of a place to play around at night, even if they're pretty well lighted. It's no picnic in that place, because you don't know what can happen in there. You know, a conveyor could blow, a crusher could blow, and you never know what's gonna happen.
So I think I'm more interested, what I get about complaints, what I get complaints is noise.
But if a guy goes in there and you don't really know about quarries,
No,
He
I'm
could
not
hurt
saying,
himself.
I'm not, and again, I don't necessarily, and this is just a talk, but I
I
don't
mean, I've been around
necessarily,
this all my life.
I don't necessarily perceive one of our agents sitting inside of the quarry while this is going on. Now with the asphalt plant up front, I mean, all the noise, if there's gonna be noise or
The
anything
mess
that's
is
associated.
gonna be up front.
It's gonna be, so even just to sit back in the neighborhood and hear it going on and to make notes of what's going on over a 2 or 3 hour period is gonna be that much more documentation. And that documentation will equate to us being able to sit down with DEP and say, listen, there's some violations here, you need to come in a little bit harder. We only have a certain amount of regulatory authority over PJ Keating. And if we can work with PJ Keating to do some of this other stuff, it's gonna benefit everybody in town. But at the same time, knowing that we're gonna be out there making these other checks, spot checks at different times, might make them think a little bit more about having those trucks go in there and banging their gates when they're bringing in the millings. And that happens over and over again. So, the dust that's going on, the quarry operator, manager over there right now is spectacular, and he really goes out of his way to stop when he needs to stop.
Who's that?
Jeff.
Oh.
I have no issues with them. I mean, they really pay attention to what's going on now. But again, if we have somebody that's always around, doesn't matter when, but always around, because that's their focus.
See, tailgate banging is probably an essential thing.
Don't care about it during the day, Bob.
No, because.
At 2 o'clock in the
Right,
morning is
but
a
the-
problem.
But the thing is, when they're coplaning, that gets really hot, and it melts the asphalt and it sticks in the bed of the truck.
Yep.
So I see them, they have to bang it to get that stuff out, otherwise it'll gather and gather and gather. Then you gotta get a jackhammer and they cut it out.
Yeah,
I know it's annoying hearing bing all night, and,
Right, They try for the most part to avoid that,
the
but they
biggest thing,
still-
they're gonna have to, when they're in there idling, they're gonna have to shut down their motors.
Yep.
Because that's just gonna carry. And their backup beepers at night, there's another problem, every truck has to have a backup beeper, and the decimals has to be 6 or greater.
Yep.
And the problem there is, they cannot shut them off with a switch.
Right,
They have to have them on.
all the time. Yep.
Or OSHA will jump right on their case so bad,
Yep.
they'll pay fines. So what do you do about these trucks that comes into the quarry in the middle of the night, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning? And these things, and they get it back up sometimes.
Yep, and I don't think that we have, we don't really get complaints, complaints about the backup alarms. We get complaints about
The
the
banging.
tailgates banging, and I think that, when you're sleeping, you probably, and again, I'm,
Summertime, a lot of people don't have AC, so their windows are open.
yeah, but I
It
mean,
just
that,
travels at night.
again, it's just one of those things where we'll have to.
It's a tough
see.
situation, that place.
Yeah, and again, all we're gonna do is just literally try to help the residents.
It is an
and-
essential place to have. We all need them.
Right.
The communities have to have basically that quarry there, because that's where you get all your raw materials from. All your roads are built from that place, from here to, they go all the way up to Lunenburg.
Yeah.
They go into Providence, they go down to P-Town.
I think, and I think.
All the roads you see built around here come out of that quarry.
Right.
And it's about main highways, 195, all of them, all come out of that quarry.
And I think we're doing a good job working
You know,
together. We
Just gotta
really
keep
are.
them on their toes
That's
and
what it
making
is.
sure that,
Constant.
hopefully that they keep Jeff for a while. you know, you can work with the man, you can talk to the man.
Yeah.
You ask him to do something, he jumps on it right away.
Yeah.
But you may get another guy in there that's not gonna be as jumpy as Jeff.
Well, that's where we said it, and I mean, if he's not as jumpy as Jeff, then we start finding him. And that's what's gonna happen, you know, right now, you can call Jeff and he reacts.
Well, if I called him right now and say, hey, your crushers are making too much dust going across the street, okay, Bob, no problem. You call the foreman that night and he'll say, shut that thing down.
Right. And so it's better than.
I have no problem with that with him.
No, I know.
No
but that's what
questions
it is.
asked.
It's
Yeah.
better than being
It's
able
good to
work
have
with-
them work with you, to have enemies.
Right.
Enemies, we don't need enemies.
And then it gets into the ugly side. And
That's
right
right.
now, it's been
Been pretty good.
much better since you guys grabbed hold of it and shook them up a little.
But other than that, I have nothing more to say.
Yep.
David?
Minutes.
Okay, we got some minutes to approve. September 24th. Where are we here? Are we in here?
Maybe before that. Yeah, you can have an extra. Yeah.
Did you see these minutes, David?
Yes, I'm all set.
He's here?
Yeah, I read them. I make a motion to approve.
Can you give me a quick,
Oh, sure, go ahead.
just to look through it quick? Okay, so we're not going over the late fees tonight then either, right?
No, no, that's just the,
No, this
keep-
is on this agenda here and it was
Yeah,
over
we
here.
Yeah, we just keep
We
it.
made a motion to keep them on that.
Okay,
agenda.
yeah. And that motion was made again today?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, motion,
Motion to approve the minutes?
all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. You want me to write on this one, Joanne?
I think we wanted to put a copy in the, orange folder there.
That doesn't make a difference, does it?
I
As
think
long as he
Dave
signs it and I sign it?
I think Dave needs to sign them too. Yeah, send them down from there, she's got it all marked out for you.
All set?
Yep.
I just glanced through it real quick. Okay. Next meeting, David?
November 26th, it'll be after
Oh, after that meeting
the
down there?
sewer summit, so
Summit meeting.
round about 6:30,
Okay.
whatever.
And remember, we're also gonna have to post a meeting for 5.
Yep.
Right, because you guys are all gonna be together, and we'll figure out where it's gonna be.
Yeah, you
So
can
we're gonna
post
post
it and say it'll start at wherever it is at 5 to be continued back up at the Board of Health
I'm
Department.
gonna check with Pam how to
Okay,
do
so you have
that,
to do it,
because
yeah.
she might have a call, I'll
Okay.
check with her,
Yeah, maybe it's too
Okay,
posted.
is there any other
Yeah.
business?
make sure.
Motion to adjourn?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.